Okay. I check 1, 2. Hello everyone, my name is Mads and I'm a sound artist and a composer and many other things. And this is my new TV show. It could also be called a sort of vlog or I don't know, another episode of the public meltdown that is my career as an artist. So what are we doing here? I don't know. I hope you know. This being my first episode of this vlog, we're still trying to figure out the format. But what we're gonna do here is I'm gonna talk a little bit about what I'm doing as an artist and as a composer, and I'm gonna do a little bit of an update about my activities. And if you have any questions that you'd like to ask, please send them below as a comment or an email or whatever. And I'd be happy to reply to them in the next episode. And please subscribe and consider signing up for my email newsletter as well. I send out a newsletter once a month approximately. It's usually pretty good, I have to say. Yeah, it's a good place to keep up to date outside of the grand old platforms that we are dealing with. I'm in a garden, the sun is shining, now wind is sort of picking up. I hope it's okay. I feel okay. So this is the first time I'm doing this. As I said, I'm figuring out the format. Might change in the future, but it is definitely a semi-incoherent stream of words from me about arts and music. So that's what you can expect. And I have a little bit of an agenda. I don't have a full manuscript. And I'm not really going to edit this because I don't have time for it. And yeah, hopefully that's okay. So the first order of business, I just finished a trip to Norway. I went to the Norwegian Center for Technology and Art, aka Notam, in Oslo, which is a wonderful place. I went there to do two things. I did an exhibition called Moans and Groans, where I tried to recreate the wind in trees in Denmark. So I've done these like geophonic recordings of trees in Denmark, where I squeezed a geophone into like crevices of trees and in between the roots as well on windy days to pick up the sound and, well, actually more relevantly, the deep frequency vibrations that the wind causes in the trees. So I did that, and then for the exhibition I recreated those vibrations in some small objects, which are basically twigs that I had attached vibrator motors to. So the vibrator motors, you know, from sex toys and game pads and smartphones. So a sort of haptic feedback in a sense. And I did some custom electronics for that as well, which I have open sourced, and I think it's pretty good as well. Good too. I'm happy about the exhibition. It was a lot of work, as exhibitions are, and a lot of things went wrong, as they do. I got sick, so in the beginning of my production period, I had like a fever for 3 days, and I lost 3 days on account of that, which was annoying. And always afterwards, when you've done a big project like that, you get sort of like the post-project blues, and you think of all the things you could have done differently, and the feedback that you got afterwards. And I got some really great feedback, I have to say, of things I want to change the next time I do an exhibition with this. So I'm really happy about that, but of course, post-project blues is real. Big plane flying overhead. Hope that's not too bad. Yeah, post-project blues, it sucks. As does this train that's flying above, this plane that's flying above me. Thankfully, it's not a train. But yeah, the post-project blues, I think pretty much any creative knows how that feels. It's a strange, dirty feeling when you've dedicated a lot of energy to a project for a very long time, and especially at if you have like a period of high intensity towards the end of it, and all of a sudden it's over, and you consider a lot of things, and you think, oh, was it worth it? and a lot of other things. And yeah, I believe it was worth it, and it is worth it. It's always worth it to do art. But it is very demanding and taxing on the energies. But yeah, also while I was there, at notam I did a workshop on sort of speculative vibrations, where I used the circuits that I had designed for the exhibition to allow people to play with haptic feedback and audio. So the circuits that I made can translate audio into vibrations. So you could plug it into your computer and it shows up as a USB audio interface, and you're then able to play sounds out through it, and those sounds will then come out as sound in one channel and as vibrations in a vibration motor in the other. So that was a lot of fun, and I tied the workshop together with some theory and some biology. So I've spent a lot of time, and I still do spend a lot of time researching into how vibrations work in nature. So we're talking vibrations that aren't sound, like airborne vibrations, but vibrations in materials in nature. So it could be the soil, it could be a tree, it could be water, it could be sand, whatever. It's a relatively new field of research in biology because it's been hard to research into in the past, but it's extremely exciting. So I looked into how communication works in nature through vibrations. A lot of species, actually at least 150,000 species, communicate solely through material vibrations. And they do it in some pretty wild and almost kind of alien-like ways. And so for this workshop, we did like a quick tour of biology and how the human skin works with vibration, and how insects and animals use vibrations, and it was really exciting. So I tied that together with a practical part where we played with these vibration motors and circuits, and I tried to make it speculative. So I was encouraging people to try to see what it feels like, for example, to be a scorpion that picks up vibrations in its legs and in its sort of elbow, or whatever you want to call it. And that was so much fun, and it really gave me a lot of energy to see people play around with this technology and start to think about what's possible artistically. And yeah, I just think these vibration things are super interesting. And it's going to be like a long-term project for me, researching how these material vibrations could be a language for art and sound art and whatever, and sort of speculate a little bit more about what sort of avenues of sensuality and thinking and philosophy and whatever it might open up to work with these material vibrations. So this trip was sort of the first chapter in that research project, and I'm not sure when the next chapter will be, but hopefully soon, because it's super exciting, and I honestly can't wait to continue that research project and make more art based on these impressions and things that I learn. Yeah, and in this process, I won't go too deeply into it. One book that really influenced me quite a lot is a book by Elizabeth Gross. I'm gonna put the cover here somewhere. She wrote a book called something like Chaos, Territory, Sex, and it's absolutely fantastic. And it's one of those books that is going to sit with me forever, hopefully. It's a philosophical book, and it's drawing on some stuff from Deleuze and Darwin and a bunch of other people, and I think it's really beautifully written and inspiring. So that book has fueled a lot of the work that I've been doing and will be doing. Something funny happened. I took the train back from Oslo to Copenhagen, and it took around 9 hours. You have to pass through Sweden and do a quick stop there, which is always nice. I have this little ritual when I stop in Göteborg. On the way to Copenhagen, I get out and usually you have like a 1 hour changeover and go out, and I get like a vegan hot dog at the local sort of like 7-Eleven kind of shops. And it's a small little ritual that I really like. But then once I got to Copenhagen, I was waiting for a friend at the central station, and something crazy happened. I was there, and I was a little bit stiff in my body from sitting on trains and buses for 9 hours, and so I decided to do some Qigong. And if you don't know what Qigong is, it's basically this, I think around 5,000-year-old tradition from Chinese medicine of slow movements that can be used for self-healing purposes or stretches or something like that. And so I started doing these like very gentle movements in the middle of the train station, and a guy walks up and he says, "Hey, what are you doing? That looks really comfortable." And I say, "Yeah, it's nice. It's Qigong." And I just told him a little bit about what it is, and I said, "Do you want to try?" And I started showing him some of the movements we did. We did like this movement, for example, and then, you know, and we did some breathing together. And after a couple of minutes, a whole class of schoolgirls, I don't know how old they were, maybe 10, 11, 12, I don't know, I'm not very good at judging people's ages. But a class of schoolgirls came over, they were on their way on a school trip of some kind, and they were like, "What are you doing?" I said, we're doing Qigong, and it's really nice. If you want to join, you can join." And then they joined. And all of a sudden I found myself in the middle of the train station in Copenhagen, teaching a class of Qigong spontaneously. And it really heightened my mood so much. And it was super inspiring and a lot of fun. And everyone left after we did the Qigong, and we parted ways, and probably to never see each other again, and that's of course fine. But yeah, fantastic experience. I want to do more of that stuff where you expose yourself in sort of a public space and see what happens, what kind of people will you attract, and what kind of conversations will pop up. So we'll see how that pans out, but definitely hugely inspiring. So coming up now, I'm going to do a couple of projects. The first project that I'm doing now is something called, well, I don't know what the working title so far is, just the Quiet Zone. And it's a really fun, simple, artistic exploration of these compartments in Danish trains. I don't know if that's actually a global phenomenon, but in Danish trains we have a compartment for where you're supposed to be silent. And as John Cage and all the other avant-garde people know, and you probably know as well, there is no such thing as silence. So for this project I'm doing field recordings in the Quiet Zone compartments, and writing some essays as well, and taking pictures and exploring this little sound world. And yeah, that's gonna become a release on X-Formal Records at some point. And I'm really excited about that. It's a lot of fun, and I think the more I think about it, the more interesting it is to have like cordon off a zone in public space and say this is now a silent zone, even though it's full of noise, and every time the door opens, noise streams in, or the windows open, and of course you can hear the engines and from the trains and everything. So that's super exciting. And then apropos X-Formal, so if you don't know, X-Formal Records is this little platform that I have made, where we release music and sounds and words and pictures and videos and whatever. But it's I guess you could call it a music label of sorts, but in actuality it's more than that. So my ambition is to mix pictures and drawings and text and essays and videos and whatever with the releases of sound or music. And it's been going for a while. It started last year. The last release was my own, which was Empty Cloud, a 12-hour-long minimalist piece of background music that was released with a bag of tea. And now I am gearing up for something new and very exciting, which is a project that I've called Exformal Zones. And as you may have noticed, I like the word zone quite a lot. I think it's really interesting. And a big fat dove is just arriving now here in the garden. Hope it's not too noisy. Anyways, Exformal Zones is going to be this series of field recordings by me and a lot of artists that I know. I have a lot of really exciting things to present in that series of releases. And really what I want to do with it is to showcase the many aspects of field recording as an art form. And that's because I really enjoy listening to field recordings myself, and I think it's a very beautiful art form. And I hesitate to use the word pure because it's such a dangerous word, but I do think sonically it can be quite pure. I'm using the word anyway, as you can tell. But there's something about that purity of field recordings and the rawness of this idea of someone being somewhere absorbing sounds through microphones that I just think is so beautiful. And it's also one of those art forms where the practice of recording them and doing them is something beautiful in itself. If you've never tried field recording, I highly recommend that you go out with a microphone and a recorder, or just your phone or whatever, and try to pick up sounds, because what happens, you will probably notice, is automatically you will start listening in a different way, and you'll start noticing things you wouldn't notice otherwise, and you will stay in a place for a long time, and it's just really beautiful. So keep an eye out for that. There's some links below where you can follow Exformal Records, or you can sign up to my newsletter, and I will let you know once those releases are ready. I won't tease who the artists are yet, but you can be sure there's going to be some really fantastic stuff and some great artists and really inspiring works. So yeah, that's my creative update for now. As I said, if you have any questions, post them here, and let me know if you have any ideas for formats or whatever. Maybe we should do like segments where I do a certain thing, talk about things that inspire me, or other artists that I really like, or cool books that I have read or I am reading right now, or music or whatever. I don't know. Let me know what you're interested in knowing, and hopefully I didn't bore you too much with this video, and we'll see you around. Yeah. Pax et bonum.